So let's now understand how we can integrate one Salesforce organization to another Salesforce organization. So for that, we obviously require two of the Salesforce organizations. So what I will be doing here is like, we require to make one of them has to be the source, the other one has to be the target. That means we are exposing the data from the source organization, and then we will be receiving that into one another organization, that is again a Salesforce organization. Your source organization, there are few other names for that, like it's sometimes it is also called as like source and target, and provider and the consumer, or the publisher and the subscriber. So these are some of the few common names that we usually use for this type of integrations. Okay, so what I will be doing is like, I already have opened your instance 201 into the Google Chrome browser. I will be using one more browser, and then I will be logging into one another org for this. Logging into one another org for this. So I hope the password is saved. Yes. So this will be your other, this will be the target organization. This will be our subscriber organization, where what we will be doing is like, we will be transferring the data from this organization, like it's a Skyline Cloud Force, a Skyline Cloud solution. And then Align Infotech will going to receive this particular data. So these are two separate organizations. These are two, but both of them are the Salesforce organization. So how we can do this, how we can do this integration. Let's start with this. So first of all, what we require to generate an invitation. We require to generate an invitation from the provider organization, that means from the source organization. See, whenever if you organize any party, if you organize any function at your home or something else, so how would you invite the people? You obviously require to, like, sometimes it's like we print the cards, and or rather, abhi to khair aisa nahi hota. We usually construct a message onto WhatsApp and we circulate it, right? So how somebody could come into your party? It's without with invitation only. So that is what also we require to do the same concept. We first of all require to send an invitation from where? From the source organization, from the provider organization. So how could we do that? Okay, so I require to enable this, Salesforce to Salesforce setting in both of the organization. Whenever we are performing this integration, whenever we wanted that two Salesforce organizations should have an intercommunication between them, and one of become source, the another one become target, one of become provider, the another one become consumer, one of them become publisher, the other one become the subscriber. So what we require to do is like, we need to enable one of the settings. The setting is known as Salesforce to Salesforce setting, and we require to do this into both of the org. So I will require to do this, I will require to enable this setting in my provider as well as in my consumer, in the source as well as in the target. So how to do that? How to do that? Let's follow this navigation. So first of all, I'm going with the provider, the target. So I'm going to this setup, the setup, and then customize. Once you expand the customize, here you have something called as Salesforce to Salesforce. See, you have something called as Salesforce to Salesforce. So just expand this, and we will be going to this setting, Salesforce to Salesforce setting. Okay. So this by default is unchecked. You require to edit and enable. You require to enable. So enabling Salesforce to Salesforce isn't reversible. That means once this setting has been done, once this setting has been enabled, we cannot come back and disable it. Okay. So because it makes the changes into the metadata. That is why there are few of the settings in the Salesforce. Whenever you change it, that setting is irreversible. That setting is irreversible, and if we make it enable, we will not get a chance to make it disable after making it enable. Okay, so I'm just saving it. I'm just saving this. So I have enabled I have enabled this for what? I have enabled this for my provider organization, my target, my source organization. So here some of the some of the details of this organization has been displayed. Okay, whenever an email, if it's going to be get delivered, it's going to be delivered from this particular email ID, right? Okay, and then email name would be like this, an invitation. If you wanted to build up a template, or we can do that. These are some of the primary information that's default displayed whenever you enable this setting. So I enable this setting into target, sorry, source, right? So now let me make this enabled into the target. So I'm again doing the same thing. Let's go to the Align Infotech and go to the setup menu, then go to the customize, expand the customize, and here just find out Salesforce to Salesforce. So here it is, Salesforce to Salesforce, and let's enable this setting over here also. So it's already being enabled because probably with this org, I have performed few more integration in some of the previous batches, and that's the reason this is already being enabled. Okay. So for the target organization, this setting is already being enabled anyways. So that was my step number one or step number two, whatever you could consider. So after enabling, let's create an account record and one of the contact record. Now why, you will ask me why it is required. It is required because whenever we share it, whenever we share, so if I'm about to share one of the account, we also require to have one email address for that, but account object doesn't have the email. So what I will be doing is like, I will be creating one account record and one related contact. So I'll be taking that, I'll be taking that email inside the contact. So what we require to do is like, inside the provider organization, that means inside the source organization, your Google Chrome, inside the source, your batch 201, your Skyline cloud solution, Skyline. Let me give the name over here is like, instead of Chrome and everything, let me give the name has to be what? The name is Skyline is my, source organization, and then into the Firefox, I'm align info. Okay, that is the target organization. That would be better to understand. Yeah. So from Skyline, from Skyline, I need to do what? I need to create an account record with the required fields, whatever. And then after creating that account record, I will be creating one of the related contacts record. Now, while creating that related contact, what we require, we need to specify the consumer's organization email ID. Consumer's organization email ID. So consumers, or who is consumer, by the way? Who is consumer? The target organization. Consumer subscriber. So I need to go with the align infotech. I need to go with the align infotech, and I need to get the get the email ID of this particular align infotech. Okay. So what I will be doing, first of all, let's go with this organization company profile here. From here also we can take it this ID. So from here also, or else I could take it from, I could take it from directly users. That would be also essential. From users also we can take it, right? So this, yeah, this one, the system admin, the system admin with this email ID, with this email ID we have created the organization. So I will be copying this, I will be copying this, and I will be providing this into the target source. So let's do that step by step. It's a step, I have told you this is a step by step process. So what we require to do, we first of all require to create an account record, and for that account let's create a contact also. So I'll be creating one of the account record into the provider, that means into the Skyline cloud force. So I'm going with over here, and I'm clicking on this account, I'm clicking on this new button, and let's create a new account record. So okay, I have overridden this page. इसको override कर रखा है मैंने यहाँ पे, देखो Apex then my account page is getting open. So मैं इसको revert कर देता हूँ सबसे पहले. Customize accounts, buttons, links and action, and then whenever I be clicking this new button, so after clicking this new button, as you can see our Visual Force page is opening. So let me make changes over here, and we wanted to load the default page, so no override. That means no override. I just wanted to open my standard page, the default page of account. Okay, the default page of account. So now I have make those changes. Edit also have that. Is edit? No, it's not there. Fine. So let me now go with the account once again and then click this new button. So now we will be, we will the default account page, the default user interface of the account will going to get open. So I'll be making this. I'm creating one of the account with the name Skyline account record number. Okay, and let me select the type as the prospect, industry as probably environmental industry, the annual revenue, number of the contact, that is one of the field what we created yesterday, and then fax, and then website, ownership is probably public, and delete this whole data. Anyways, customer priority is high. Anyways, and customer priority is high. SL expiration active status is yes, and upsell opportunity. So with these basic details, with these basic details, now I'm saving this account record. So that was my step number one. Okay, create an account. Create an account record. Okay, with whatever the fields that you feel that it should be there, just create an account record. Now, with respect to this account, let's create an related contact. And in the email specifically, we require to provide the consumer's organization email ID. That means the target organization's email ID. Okay, target organization's email ID. Let me once again verify this. Training my Salesforce. Let me go with this. So I'm just copying and pasting it over here. So this is the target, the consumer organization से उसके ID है ये, ठीक है? So let me do that. So I'm creating one of the related contacts. So once again go with this. Into the related list we have this contact opportunity cases. Let's create a related contact for this. Okay. The first name is related. Related contact for Skyline. Skyline. Related contact one for Skyline. ठीक है? And like account basic detail, it has already been taken, like phone and fax and email. Here I require to mention the email ID of the consumers. ठीक है? The target organization email ID. So this is the email ID of the target organization. So I'm copying it and I'll be pasting it. I'll be pasting it. I'll be pasting it over here. Okay, in the target organization. So this is what you require to do. So this is what you require to do. That means first of all you require to create an account record, and then for that account create the related contact record. But when you are creating the related contact, what you need to specify, what you need to mention, the email ID of that should be your consumer's organization's email ID. Okay, so after doing these changes, I have mentioned this, training my Salesforce, and now I'm saving this. Okay, and so I'm saving, because see, whenever we generate an invitation, why we are doing this? Because we wanted to generate an invitation. Whenever we require to generate an invitation, we certainly require the contact record, and we wanted to send the invitation from by email, and that is the reason we require to have a contact, because whenever we wanted to send the invitation, this invitation is going to be sent via email, so we require to have that email ID. So what I did, I created an account record, and then I created the related contact with this particular thing. Okay, with this particular thing. Okay. एनीवेज ठीक है, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now, after this has been done, after this has been done, what we require to send the invitations, and we require to send the invitations to the consumer, and then we require to do one more thing. After sending the invitation, we require to map the connections. Okay, these are the two things. So let's understand. So that is, see, this is something which is actually step by step navigation. Every time when you do this, every time, even in the real time, you need to follow the same steps. You require to follow the same steps. Okay, so from the provider, that means from the sender, let's send an invitation. Let's send an invitation message. So how to do that? Go to the tab bar, okay, and then click here. Actually we require to have one of the tab called as connections. That means we just require to, for sending the invitation, we require to, this is one of the object, one standard object is there, connections. So what I require, what I require. Okay, so what I require to have this tab, connections tab, onto my tab bar. So that is what I'm doing. That is what I'm doing. I'm actually clicking this plus, and then customize my page. Let me remove this. Okay. Now let's add one of the connections, one of the object, one of the tab called as connections. Connection, this one. So let me add it. Let's bring it a little bit up. Okay. So after campaign account and cases, everything, so there is connection. Yeah, so let me now save it. So now we have this ad, we have this tab connections. Okay, we have this tab connections. So with this connection tab, we will going to send the invitation request. First of all, we require to map the connection. So I require to do what? I first of all require to click on the connection tab and then press this new button. Okay, and then select the partners and everything. So let's select that. Let's select that. So I'm clicking on the connection tab. There is no such connection that we already have mapped, right? So we require to create a new connection, and so I'm clicking on this new button. Okay. Here specifically I require to select the contact, and that's the reason we have created one of the contact record. We created one of the contact record. So related contact record for Skyline. So this one was, so it has taken the account and everything. And then connection owner is this. Now, if you wanted to have any templates, so if you have designed any invitation template, then you can do with this. Otherwise, you can keep it blank. This one is not a mandatory field. So if you have specifically any template with you wanted to send as an invitation, so you can go with that. And otherwise, you can keep it blank. So it's taking you to the document object basically, and from there you can pull up something. But if you don't have, just you can keep it blank. And after selecting all this, and after selecting this account, the contact will automatically going to be get fetched. After selecting the contact, the account will automatically going to be get fetched. And then company is represented by, so the name of the organization, our organization name is going to be get displayed over here. And then save and send the invite. Save and send the invite. So invitation sent, you can now publish the object to this connection. So before, although it's mentioning that अभी हम publish कर सकते हैं, but हमको कैसा है कि अभी हमको इस ये जो I mean ये जो object हमने invitation send किया है, तो भाई जिसको send किया उसने accept भी तो करना चाहिए, ठीक है? तो what we require to do is like same I require to go over here. यहाँ पर भी मैं वही पेज लेके आता हूँ, connections का जो tab है हमारा. Let me bring it over here also, ठीक है? First of all, remove some of the organizers. Okay. Let's now go with the connections tab. So I'm just adding the connection. I'm making it a little bit up and then save it. Okay. So see, going step by step. So what you require to do is, first of all, you require to click the connection, click the new button. Okay. Then select the partner's account. Select the partner's account, whatever you have with you. Let's select this partner account, and then contact. Actually, you require to select the contact, because when you select the contact, the account will automatically going to come up, right? So we require to do this, and once after selecting the contact, the related account will automatically going to be get fetched, and then press the save button. So this we have did. Okay. So once after sending the invitation, what we require to do, we now require to go to the second organization, that is consumer. भाई आपने अगर सेंड किया इनविटेशन तो आपने अगर सेंड किया है, यानी आपने अगर लाइक इनविटेशन सेंड किया है, तो कंज्यूमर जो है, मतलब दूसरा जो बंदा है, उसने उसे एक्सेप्ट भी तो करना चाहिए. तो सेम थिंग वी रिक्वायर टू गो ओवर देयर. तो वहां भी कंज्यूमर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में भी आपको व्हाट यू रिक्वायर टू डू, आपको वहां पर कनेक्शंस का ओपन करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? और कनेक्शंस ओपन करने के बाद में, ठीक है, आपको वहां पे ऐसे एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा. सो व्हाट वी रिक्वायर टू डू ओवर हियर इज लाइक, we require first of all to go to the consumers organization's email id. ठीक है? तो what I will be doing is like ये जो organization है, इसका मैं email id ओपन करता हूँ, ठीक है? इसका मैं email id ओपन करता हूँ. सो यहीं पर कर लेते हैं. Yeah. So let me open this email id. Mm, Email id is what? One second. Let me copy the credentials over there. Mm, Yeah. So it's asking to the update and everything. Okay. So whenever you send this email, see, one invitation has come to the email ID of that organization. So batch 201 has invited you to connect in the Salesforce. So what we require to do, the same thing. We require to open this dear related contact. This is the name of this training. Salesforce batch 201 has invited you to connect using Salesforce to Salesforce. So what we require to do, we require to click this link, to respond to the invitation. If we wanted to accept the invitation, we require to or even if you wanted to deny this, if you even wanted to deny it, you can accept or deny it, that's up to you. You require to click this invitation link. Okay, so what I will be doing, I'm just clicking this invitation link, and the username is, it require you to log in. So you will be logging into this, and then you are routed to the connection tabs. Okay, you are routed to what? Connection tab. So batch 201 has invited your company to connect. If you accept this invitation, you can share the information on the certain records between the companies. Okay, and then connection can be deactivated from either side at any time. So we have two options: either we can accept, either we can decline this. And if you wanted to decide it later, you can decide it later also. So what I will be doing, I'm just accepting this invitation. Okay, so now the provider has accepted the invitation, so connection is activated, your published object are now available. Okay, so for the subscription, so this is what the invitation was sent, invitation was being accepted. Okay, invitation was being accepted. So now let's go to this. So I sent it this the consumer organization, and then consumer organization has accepted this invitation. So this is what we have done. Okay, this is what we have done. Okay, now, so this was the observation. I mean, after the connection has been established. Now if you go to this, if you go to the connection tab, and if you refresh this, say if you refresh this, so what you will be seeing right now is like, okay, one connection name has been activated. Okay, connection name is Align Infotech Private Limited, and this connection is in active state. Okay, his connection is in active state. Okay, so this is what the observation, this is was the observation after the consumer accepted our invitation. This is what the observation, right? Now now let's move ahead with this. So let's move to the provider, that is Skyline. Required, select the required object that we wanted to be get published. Okay, जिसको हमें send करना है, the object that we require to publish from the consumers to the from the provider to the कंज्यूमर. तो उसके लिए फिर अब मैं क्या करूंगा कि हमें कौन कौन सी ऑब्जेक्ट सेंड करना है, और उसके बाद में हम उस ऑब्जेक्ट के बाद में हम रिकॉर्ड लेवल पर भी जाएंगे. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हम ऑब्जेक्ट लेवल पे जाएंगे. So select the required object that you wanted to publish, that you wanted to expose from provider to the consumer, that you wanted to, the data of which object you wanted to send from the sender to receiver. So inside the sender, inside the provider, inside the subscriber, you require to select those objects. तो उसके लिए एक बार फिर से हम कनेक्शन टैब पे जाएंगे, एंड देन क्लिक ऑन द कनेक्शन नेम विच हैज बीन एस्टैब्लिश्ड, गो टू द पब्लिश ऑब्जेक्ट सेक्शन. ठीक है, सिलेक्ट द रिक्वायर्ड ऑब्जेक्ट टू बी गेट पब्लिश, एंड देन क्लिक ऑन द सेव बटन. So I'll be going to this connection and then connection name. So I'm here, and this is my connection name. Let me click on this connection name. Okay, let me click on this connection name. So here is the list of published objects. Now as you can see, it is presently we don't have anything, presently we don't have any name over here onto this section. So what we require to do, we require to go to the published object section. This is the section, published object section, and then we require to select the objects whatever we wanted to publish. Okay, so for example, I'm clicking this publish, and for example, I wanted to expose the data of the account. Okay, and these are the objects, these are the objects inside us. So these are all those objects that can be published, not every object, just the objects that can be published. And always remember, not every object can be published. Yeah, it's your custom object can be published, but then few of the standard objects that we can publish. Okay, apart from this, if you wanted to do, we need to require write down the programmatic customization. If you wanted, for example, apart from this any standard object you wanted to transfer, then in that case you should write down the API and REST. I mean, you require to write down the API classes for that. But without coding, some of the standard object and every custom object that you can publish. Okay, so I'm selecting account from here for now, and I'm saving this, and I'm saving this. So what I did, I first of all, I selected which object from my publisher, which object from the sender I wanted to publish. So I've selected account object. So data of the account object I wanted it to be get transferred. Okay, not every, it will be required कि कौन सी object हम decide करते हैं. So this was what? This was step number 5. Select the required object to get published. And then let's go to the consumer side. Let's go to the target organization. Let's go to the Align Infotech. And there what we'll do is subscribe the object. See, when you are sending, the other one should also capture the. अगर आप एक एंड से आप बॉल फेंक रहे हो, दूसरी तरफ से कोई उसे कैच कर नहीं रहा है, तो फिर ऑब्वियसली वो जमीन पे गिर जाएगा, राइट? सो व्हेन somebody is sending the record, when somebody is sending the record of one particular object, the subscriber, the consumer, the target organization should have a capability to receive those. तो वहां पर आपको क्या करना पड़ता है? If here you are publishing the record, here if you are publishing the record, here if you are publishing the record, so into the subscriber, into the target organization, into the target organization, or I mean here, let me refresh this. Let me refresh this. So here, let's go to this connection batch 201. Here, we need to subscribe. Here, we don't require to publish because right now this is not the sender. This align infotech is what? Align infotech right now is acting what? He's acting as a target. He's acting as a subscriber. He's acting as a consumer. Right. So here, what we require to do? Here, we require to subscribe those objects. Subscribe those objects that he wanted to receive the data. So on the consumer end, we require to do what? We require to subscribe the objects. So go to the consumer organization, then click on the connections, open that connection and go to the subscriber object section. No, it's not subscriber. It's actually, yeah, subscriber. So yeah, go to the subscriber objects and then we require to select that. Okay. So if I am, I'm selecting this connection, let me go to the subscribe object and let me click on this subscribe button. So if if sender is there is no object subscribe from, select the object you wanted to subscribe button. So retrieve the record of standard connection. The connection must publish the record object. So it's sent automatically. Okay. Hmm. Okay. I was on to wrong window actually. Yeah, I was on to the wrong window. So I need to do this into align infotech. So I was doing that into a wrong place. That was the reason. What is happening? Okay, we are on to the align infotech and we are required, we are supposed to click on this. Yeah. So see, here we require to what? Here we require to add, or if you have already added, you can remove the subscribed objects. So see, batch 201 is exposing account. Batch 201 is exposing account. That means the batch 201 batch. This is trying to expose account. Okay. As soon as as soon as the this for this connection, batch 201 has exposed the account. तो यहाँ immediately वो list out हो गया कि batch 201 is exposing account. ठीक है, batch 201 is exposing account. And for example, अगर कोई और भी object होती, let me edit this. Let me edit this. Let's try to edit this. And from the account, from the account, okay, sorry. If I publish account and if I'm publishing, for example, case and example, I don't have this idea about. Let me publish one of the position, but position is a child component, so without parent it cannot be created. So I'll be selecting this hiring manager. Okay, and hiring manager contact I could also say. So let me save this. Okay, let me save this. So these are the objects, these are the objects that we are exposing from, that we are publishing, that we are exposing from the provider, from the Skyline Infotech. So let's go to it once again and let me refresh this window. Let me refresh this window. So see, as soon as you make the changes over there and you come back over to the subscriber object, and when you refresh, so here is like, batch 201 has exposing account, case, contact and hiring manager. Now in which object you wanted, to accept. So here, like for the account, it's going to give you the suggestion, because that one is a that one is a standard organization, so it will be going to give you this suggestion. So I will be the records from the account are going to be received inside account. The records from the case are going to be received inside the case object in the target organization. The record from the contact, from the source, is going to be received inside the contact. What about the hiring manager? What about the hiring manager? So we have all these, we have all these options. Now we have all this option. So hiring manager record, I wanted to, whenever this object, hiring manager, is sending the data, I wanted to receive it into one of the object called as HR underscore manager. HR underscore manager. Okay. So after doing this, when you have done this, so you require to select the checkbox as auto accept. You require to do this auto accept, automatically accept. So that every time it won't ask you to come back and do this setting. When you auto accept, when you this map is going to be get saved. Like for the account is account, case for the case, contact for the contact is in the source and destination. Now in the source, if it is hiring manager, in the destination it is what, HR underscore manager. So we require to save this mapping. The similar kind of this we have done in the data loaders also. If you remember, the similar kind of thing we have done in the data loaders also. So after doing this, you require to select this auto accept, so that in the next time it's going to save this mapping. So I'll be saving this mapping. So now this has been done. Okay, for the account, it's like account and the cases. Now if I go over here, if I click this, so how many fields that have been exposed, so that will come out. So just click on here, just click on here, edit button. So only account name, I mean the account name is right now mapped. Right now account name is mapped. Why? That means the sender could only send the account name. That means one field of the account, one field, and one field from the hiring manager. These are only mapped. Why? So for that I require to go to the sender section. So sender is my the publisher is Skyline Cloud Source. So here I require to go over this. So here I can see that for the account only one field. By default only one field. The data of only one field is going to be get transferred. That is account name. For case it is subject. For contact it is last name, and for hiring manager it's hiring manager name. Now I wanted that few more records, few more fields should be get transferred, not just with this. So I'm going to and edit this. As soon as I edit this, these are all the fields of account. So what you wanted to transfer along with the name, for example, I wanted to transfer the fax, phone, rating, and then type, and then active status. I wanted to transfer annual revenue, billing city, billing country, billing state, billing street. I wanted, and then billing state, customer priority also I want. Industry, for example, I also wanted number of contacts. No, because see this field is not there in a number of the contacts. So if you are if you're transferring this field, if you're transferring data of this field, so whatever the sender is transferring, the destination must also have that field. So if it is not there, so I'm not selecting this. And ownership also I wanted to get transfer. I wanted shipping, I don't want it, website, and this much. See, okay, now let me save this. So from this sender organization, although we have selected account, that doesn't mean that all of the fields of account is going to be get transferred. It's really up to in our hand, okay, how many fields of data, how many the data of the fields which we wanted to expose. So in the account object I selected 16 fields. Now let's go to the case and let me edit this once again. So apart from the subject, let me expose the case number, case origin, case reason, case type, description of the case, email address, okay, and then phone, and then priority, okay, and then status. These are few of the fields that I wanted to expose. So in the case, I will be exposing 10 fields. In the contact, let me edit it. So apart from the name, let me give this email, and then first name, last name already selected, and then mailing city, mailing country, mailing latitude, mailing longitude, mailing state, city, zip, mobile phone, salutation, and then titles. So these are the fields I wanted to be get exposed from the case. Now let's come to the hiring manager. Apart from the hiring manager name, I wanted to transfer contact name, HR, email ID, HR ID. HR ID is the lookup field. Location, position count is roll up summary. So I don't know whether I have created that roll up summary over there or not. So I'll be skipping that. HR ID, HR email ID, and HR ID, I think that is the relationship field. Okay, so I'm just going with the contact number, HR email ID, and location. Okay, I'm exposing these few fields. Okay, now these are the fields, these are the record. I mean, these fields records are going to be get transferred. These fields record are going to be get exposed to the subscriber. So let's go to the subscriber organization. Let's now you can see that यहाँ पर वो अभी one field था. Let me try to refresh this. Let's try to refresh this. Okay, so here again only one field has been there, so I require to edit this. तो अभी देखो इतनी फील्ड वहां से एक्सपोज हो रही है, नेम, फैक्स, फोन, ठीक है, एंड देन रेटिंग. तो हियर वन थिंग इज लाइक व्हाट यू कैन डू इज अकाउंट फैक्स यू वांटेड टू ट्रांसफर इनटू व्हाट, ठीक है, यू कैन डिसाइड. फोन यू वांटेड टू ट्रांसफर इनटू व्हाट, रेटिंग you wanted to transfer into what, that is one thing you can do. and there is a checkbox. There is a small checkbox over here, so auto map fields. If I click this, if I click this, so by default it will take because these are standard fields, we can take those risks. Account object in both of the cases will going to have the same fields, so I can take that risk to auto map. In case of my custom object probably मुझे manually करना पड़ सकता है, but here because these are the standard object in both side, so I could take that advantage. तो आप देख सकते हो कि वेबसाइट विद वेबसाइट, ओनरशिप विद ओनरशिप, है ना? तो ये दिस इज द सिमिलर थिंग व्हाट वी हैव डिड ओवर देयर इन द डेटा लोडर्स आल्सो, right? So that is what the thing. So after you created this map, let's now save this. Now do this same process for all other objects also, because for the case again we can see only one thing for the hiring manager and for the contact also. So let's do it. So because case is again the standard object, I'm going to take the help of that auto match field. Okay, these are the fields that are going to be get exposed from the sender. So I'm just clicking this auto map. Case number, case number, case number is something which is not over here. Okay, so I'll be skipping that. So when you skip any field, when you skip any field, that field is data is not going to be get transferred. Okay, that data is not going to be get transferred. Case number is not over here. It's a data type. Why it is not over? Company name phone. Anyways, let me save this. So this means although the case number you can transfer it from the center, it's not going to map in the destination. Okay, so let's now go with the contact. Let's now go with the contact. Let me click this auto map, email with email, first name and mailing country, and then these all things, mobile phone, title, where is the last name with the last name. Yes. Now let me save this also. Okay, so this is also map. Now let me go with the hiring manager. So hiring manager here could probably I could require to map it manually. Contact number, because हो सकता है कि fields के नाम अलग अलग, यार यहाँ पे तो same थे बोलना. Save it. Okay. So now I have mapped the object. So step number one was like to map the object, object to object. And then step number after that, whatever the step, you require to map the fields, require to map the fields. Okay. Now, so whatever we have mapped, whatever the fields that we have exposed in the consumer also we require to subscribe those published fields. That is also done, like name with the name and the rating with the rating. Okay. At this we require to step this process for every of the subscribed object. That I did it for account, case, contact, and hiring manager. So I did it. Now let's go to the provider. Let's go to the Skyline CloudForce and let's share the record. Okay, to the consumer by external sharing button. That means if I'm going to the account object, if I'm going to the account object, let's go to the account object over here. And if I'm opening any of the record, for example, I'm opening the Athena is my own, Athena should be there. Let's do with this only. So see here, or rather if I create a new account record, for example, if I even create a new account record, I must have one of the button over here. I must have one of the button for the external sharing. There is a button. You require to bring that button over here. Okay. Only in that case you could share the record, otherwise not. Okay, otherwise not. So there is a button for that. We require to bring that button. There's a button called as external sharing. So how to bring that button? So we require to go to that particular published object. Which object I have published? Account and account I have published, case, contact, and hiring manager. These are the objects that I have published. So you require to go with any one of them and then click on the new button. Okay, click on the new button. Okay, after that let me go with the step by step. So like account, click on this new, expand the force.com quick access menu, right? Expand the force.com and then edit layout, then go to the page layout. Okay, then always visible sections, then go to the related list. Okay, let me show you that one by one. So edit layout, after that related list, from here there's a related list. Okay, there's a related list, right? Then related. Now add the related list external sharing. Okay, so there is one of the related list with the name external sharing. You just require to search it out. See this external sharing. Okay, you require to add it. So you can add it, I mean, in the first position or in the second, wherever you want. You can add it. So just now I have added one thing called as external sharing. From the related list section, I have added external sharing. Okay, and then click the save button. Okay, and this you require to do for every published object. So I am doing this into account. Let me save it first of all. Let me save it first of all. Okay, so I have added this into this. So what is going to be happen? Let me show you that. So if you open any of the record, for example, this record, okay, now you have this button, external sharing with forward this account. Okay, so forward this account. So this button comes under this external sharing section. So I require to enable this every time in every of the object. So account, apart from the account, I have case, contact, and hiring manager. So let me now go to the case, okay, and then click on this new button, or else I can do what, and I can open any of the record here also. I can do the same thing. It's not just like every time you click on this new. So edit layout, because you require to go to layout. It could be edit or detail. Then go to this related list section, related list, and add one of the thing called as external sharing. Okay, external sharing, I'm just dragging and dropping it over here. External sharing, and save it. Yes. So this is my, here also I have added that. Let's go to the details. Here also I have added external sharing, forward this case. Now let's go to that is contact. Okay. So let's go to the contact also. In the contact also I wanted to do the same thing. So just open any of the record. That means either with new, I mean go to the detail layout or edit layout. Okay. After that, go to related list section. Go to related list section, and then just add this external sharing. Okay. Just add this external sharing over. Yeah, so here also done, and then save it. Yes, and now let me go with the hiring manager. Okay, just open any of the record, repeat the same process, edit layout. Okay, edit layout, go to the related list section, then add this external sharing over here also. After done, let's save this. Save it. Yes. Yes, done with the changes. Okay, now what? So now you have added that external sharing section on every published object. How many objects we have published? We have published account, case, contact, and hiring object. So these, onto these objects, onto these objects, onto these objects, I have added that section external sharing. Okay, I have added that section into the related list. I have added that section external sharing, and we with this external sharing we have this button. Okay, now let's see. Now after doing this, let's now share a record from consumer to the from the provider to the consumer. Okay, so one by one I will be doing. Let me first of all go to the account. Let me open any of the account, sample test, or rather Skyline. Okay, so this is one of the account where the type is, for example, prospect, and the annual revenue is like this value, and then the customer priority is high. Then the active status over is yes, and the website is with this, the ownership is public. What other fields we have exposed? Account site, I don't think. Okay, let me save this. So this is one of the account record with the name Skyline. I'm saving this. Okay, now start me save. Yeah, so let me now share this record. So before that, let's go to the provider organization and let's see whether in the provider, whether in the consumer, do we have any account with the name called as Skyline. So I'm going with the account inside this consumer, inside the target organization. I'm going with the accounts. I'm clicking on this all accounts, and I'm clicking on this all accounts, and then Let me see to this, I have any account with the name called as Skyline? Here you can see we don't have any such account with the name Skyline. Okay, with the name Skyline. So let me now open this record and click on, go to the external sharing section, forward this account. So here all the connections, all the open connections that are being, all the names of those organizations with which you have invited them are going to be listed out. Presently, I can see the name of Align Infotech. Let me add it. If you wanted to send the email notification that this record has been, once record has been sent it, then you can do that. And with this account, if there is any case record, if there is any contact record, that could also be sent, that could also be sent. So I'm selecting that also, and let me save this. So now this record has been exposed. This record has been exposed. It's pending. The status is pending. After some time, probably, if I refresh this, so probably after some time, it's going to show me key. Okay. Let me go with the consumer organization. Let me try to refresh it over here. So yeah, here we have that Skyline record. Now you can see that record has been delivered. Okay, this record has been delivered. This record has been delivered. So let me once again refresh it over. Now see, the status is sent. Previously it was pending. Now the status has been sent. The status has been sent. So now you can see that record over it. Let's now open this record. This account was shared externally. This account record was shared externally. It was received from who is the sender. Okay, and then this connection on this particular date. So on this particular date, this record has been sent. So it is giving you this information. Okay, this is an external record. This is an external record. And in that case, the ID where that record is generated, this is called as external ID. This is called as external ID. Right? This was the concept. Previously, this was the concept with external lookup relationship. Before Salesforce to Salesforce integration, we do the same thing by something called as external lookup relationship. The same thing what you did, right? But then the steps was different. So the ID of this record is something called as external ID. External ID. Okay. So see, this is the record, and along with the contact, and along if there was no cases, although if there was the cases, that cases should also be get transferred, because I have selected and I have exposed along with the account, contact, cases, hiring manager. These are the objects that I have exposed. Now let me try this with any of the hiring manager records. Okay, so let's go to the all hiring managers. We have 518 hiring manager record. Let me now try to this with any of the hiring managers. So I'm opening the hiring manager Shweta Sharma. Okay, before that, let me go to this and let's see that we have any Shweta Sharma over in the. We have Shri Ram, Srinivas, Soya, Sohan Kumari, but we don't have any Shweta Sharma. So let me share this record. Let me share this record. Forward this hiring manager record. Forward to whom? Forward to this organization. Okay. Do you wanted to send any email notification? Right now, I don't wanted that facility. I'm saving this. So this has been sent. This has been sent. Okay, it is right now in the pending state. Okay, so let's go to this and let's try to refresh over here. Still, we haven't received that record, Shweta. We haven't received. Let me try to refresh. Let's wait for some time. Let's wait for some time. Let me try to refresh here also. Shweta Sharma is again in the pending state. So it probably is taking some time, but then it's going to be get transferred hopefully. Okay, now the status is like active. I mean, this has been sent. This has been sent. So now if I'm refreshed from here, I could probably see that record of Shweta Sharma. And you can see now one more. This hiring manager is externally shared, right? It was shared from this batch, and on this particular date, this has been recorded. Okay, this has been recorded. So this is how we share the record from one Salesforce organization to the another Salesforce organization. Okay, this is how we can share the record from one Salesforce organization to the another Salesforce organization. So have a practice. This is just a step-by-step navigation, nothing else, and it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple to do this. By tomorrow, I'll be starting something called as JSON.